Children First Derby Mentoring Service supports children and young people to improve their disposition for education and work.
Mentors are provided supporting children and young people one-on-one.
The service also provides group work to improve social skills, self-esteem and confidence. My name is Joshua and I am Chair of the Youth Forum at Children First Derby, and my personal experience with the charity was around 8 years ago when I was referred because I was being badly bullied at school. Now I'm working with Kareen and Children First Derby with the anti-bullying campaign and all of the young people so that we can try and put an end to bullying once and for all, as I won't be the only person that's going through that, and I won't be the last person to go through that either.
Hi, I'm Hannah Russell and I was personally referred to Children's First Derby 2 years ago, and I'm now volunteering as a Youth Forum member and training to become a mentor.
Hi, my name's Siraj. I've been with Children First for 4 years. I am a mentor and I currently mentor kids one-to-one, and I have group work as well that I do after school. We started to notice a rise in physical bullying about 2 years ago, and it was becoming a massive concern to all of us.
My name is Julia. I've been working as a mentor for Children First Derby since March 2022. Out of all of the children that I've supported, at least 50% have been impacted by bullying in school and in the community. The children I've supported have suffered with emotional, physical and online bullying. The children that I've worked with have started to act out at home, become resistant to boundaries set by family. They've taken out their frustration on their younger siblings. They have started to become very isolated, so they've not wanted to go out. So once they're back from school and they're in their safe space, it stopped them wanting to get involved in activities and hobbies in the community and see friends outside of school. There's more and more children coming through to the mentoring service that have already experienced bullying, and it is, although the school say that they have got a zero tolerance to bullying, this really isn't happening, and it's just a continued problem. So we end up with children who are refusing to go to school, which is obviously impacting their education and their futures. Because of this cycle that is happening with children and the lack of support and knowledge on how to protect the children, this emotionally based non-attendance is increasing significantly within the Derby area. I think it's important that parents are aware of the tools that should be being implemented in school to help with this, and by informing the parents, they can keep in contact and have that lines of communication open between them and the school, so they can actually see what is being done to keep their children safe.
I experienced bullying and ended up missing 2 years or 3 years of school.
It was 3 years.
And then I've had to do my GCSEs at home, try to find out what I'm going to do for years after school. For the first year and a half or 2 years I didn't really have much support except from the school just complaining really that I'm not going in. And then I finally, right near the end, I had Children First, Junction 16 and then James and a therapist, Anna, and that was done my GCSEs, and now I've just got to try to do college next year. They could have just made me actually, even though I didn't really fit in with the main school, they could have made me fit in with the other side of school, but I was always in like a grey area, I guess. They just never really wanted me to be inside of the places where they want you to help, where they're trying to help people. Instead they'll just try to send me to a lesson or just let me sit in some room for a bit where I have to do work that I don't even know what I'm doing because I've missed time off school.
I found it really difficult being a parent of a child who's been failed by education when education is my job.
Sam's, in his own words at one time at school, was they couldn't be bothered with him. And relationships are essential for anybody to thrive, but someone who has experienced what Sam did, and he was let down. It's hard. You just want what's best for your child, and when you don't feel like you have much control. It's hard. I've tried to explain it in meetings where the bullying could have stopped and they just expected Sam then to go back to school. Yet that building is a trigger.
Yeah.
Going down the corridors where things happened, they don't appreciate that that's a trigger. Every child should feel safe with where they go, and every child has a right to learn.
I was on the phone to these people, and after the phone call, they started saying I said things on the phone when I didn't, and then it spread around the school like crazy, and then I ended up getting jumped, and they broke my elbow here, and it was not nice at all. I was in pain for hours. It was horrible.
I am the parent of Jay. A while ago now, my son was being bullied about a rumour that had been spread around the school by some so-called friends. I received a phone call at home. It was from my son's school. A teacher was frantically saying I need to get to the school ASAP. My son had been attacked. I shot out the door into the car and got to school as quickly as possible. When I got to the school, I just broke down. My son was slumped on the sofa crying in pain. I'd never seen him so bad before, but there was nothing I could do. We were locked inside a room at the school until they managed to contain the kids at fault. The police hadn't yet arrived out, so I was just watching my child in pain. I couldn't do anything. This attack wasn't just one-on-one. This was two children who approached him from behind. They dragged him to the floor, and the only thing he could do was huddle in a ball to try and protect himself as best he could. They just kicked and stamped on him, whilst everyone else filmed the bullying. In my eyes, they are just as bad. We finally got him to the hospital. He received lots of painkillers and x-rays, and after what felt like forever, I finally reviewed the x-ray and they called us back in. X-rays confirmed that the impact of the kicks he had sustained had actually broke his elbow. If what happened wasn't bad enough, we then got sent a video of the attack. To watch my child in that situation was awful. I felt sick. I cried, and it will stay with me forever. He was refusing to go back to school until they could assure him that he would be safe, which at the time they couldn't do because the boys that attacked him were only on a short suspension. After a lot of back and forth, the school finally saw my point of view, and the boys were permanently removed. Even now to this day, what happened still upsets me. It still hurts to talk about, to even think about what it does to him as well, even if he doesn't admit it. Bullying to me needs to be tackled as quickly and effectively as possible. I don't feel like a lot of schools act quick enough for things to stop before they get too far. I feel like a lot more could be done on this front, and I'm so glad that there are people out there that are doing something to try and decrease bullying, if not able to stop it altogether.
So we arranged a meeting amongst ourselves and our youth forum, and we started to discuss ideas about how we could potentially tackle this.
After discussions with the youth forum and staff, we came up with 3 ideas to combat bullying. This anti-bullying campaign consisted of a self-defence club, an art project and this video.
Hi, my name is Patrick Martin and I'm the head coach of Allegiance Martial Arts Academy in Derby. And we've had students come from Children First. And when they first came, they may have been a bit quiet, a bit introvert, a bit shy. Now, the students, when we're teaching classes, they'll put their hands up, they'll ask questions. Sometimes the students now will select a student and they'll come to the front of the class and they'll do the warm-up. When we have someone who's new, the students will partner them and support them and help them and guide them. And these are sort of qualities they may have been lacking when they first came. They were just too nervous to put themselves out there. But with the right support and the right environment, everyone can achieve whatever they want to achieve.
I'm Ruchita Sheikh. I'm the CEO of ArtCore. We're an arts charity based in Derby. And we've been working with Children First for quite some years now, and particularly this project has been quite an interesting project to work with the young people and Children First organisation, as well as, you know, the ArtCore team. They found it really interesting. The involvement that we've had with this project is we as an art organisation, we've had artists who've worked with the young people from Children First, and they've engaged in the art activities, in making the sculpture, in sharing the ideas about anti-bullying and the importance of it. Our staff and artists have been working creatively in shaping it together, putting it together, and making the sculpture as a result of the ideas that we've received from the young people.
This project it's just meant a lot for me, because as a person who has dealt with bullying, I really wanted to make an impactful change on how it's represented and how it's looked upon and what we can do to change it. So when I was being asked how do I want to help, I came up with the idea with FIST, because I think FIST is it's empowering, not only because it represents everyone, it doesn't just represent yourself. And having this as a sculpture represents independence, it represents stability, it represents fighting and standing up for what's right, not only for you but for other people as well. So I think that it just makes it that much more personal to not only me but to everybody.
It has been great working with Corinne and the team at Children First to make it what it is today. But not only that, you know, the sculpture then traveling into schools, creating that awareness, getting the feedback from other young people, looking at the sculpture, you know, their feedback or what they felt was important as well.
Hello, my name's Helen Swinar. I'm one of the safeguarding officers at St Benedict's Catholic Voluntary Academy. We were approached by Children First some months ago to inquire whether we would be happy to hold an assembly presented by Children First in regard to their anti-bullying campaign. Children First did come in and presented an assembly to our Year 8 children. Part of the assembly was the presentation of a huge statue which had been created by some of the campaign volunteers, young people who had experienced bullying, and it was quite a centrepiece. Children listened to the assembly, and afterwards they were invited to write down their thoughts and post them within the statue, and were asked if they had any interest in joining the anti-bullying campaign.
The assembly definitely inspired me, because there's obviously a lot of people who have been bullied and have maybe not had as much confidence as they would have maybe like a few months before they started getting bullied.
Many of our young people agreed that they would love to get involved in something like that, and that culminated during the Easter holidays in 6 of our young people from school taking part in an anti-bullying workshop that was run by Children First and Derby Theatre. This was a fantastic day for everyone involved. They had the opportunity to talk about their experiences of bullying, and it was a really interesting day, a very safe space for young people to be able to tell us their thoughts and come up with ideas for getting other people involved and presenting a campaign to stop bullying.
The workshop was very comforting, because there was a lot of people who have been through the same situations as others, and there was people who shared their experiences on either if they've seen bullying or if they've been bullied, and they were very confident on sharing that experience. The outcome for me was definitely that I'd be a lot more confident to share experiences of if I've seen or been bullied, and it definitely created a safe environment to be able to talk about that.
So I work for Derby Theatre. I'm the community and learning producer. Children First asked me to join the anti-bullying campaign. There is a huge need for this sort of activity, whether that's schools putting together weekly kind of conversations, or employing organisations such as Derby Theatre, Children First and the other organisations involved to create a space where young people can share their feelings, but also can feel that they're being proactive in standing up to bullying within the environments that they populate.
An email was sent to MPs Baggy Shankar and Catherine Atkinson to inform them of our concerns and the anti-bullying campaign. On Friday 11th of April, MPs Baggy Shankar and Catherine Atkinson visited us here at Children First Derby to hear our views. We were unsure what to expect. Everyone felt they were approachable and genuinely interested in our worries.
Catherine invited us to Westminster, and on the 11th of August we travelled to London. The tour included viewings of the House of Lords, Central Lobby, St Stephen's Hall, Westminster Hall and the House of Commons.
The campaign has started really small and it's just gradually gotten bigger. It makes me feel proud and amazed to see how far it's come, and I know it will just grow.
I think it's really, really important to have some sort of campaign because we all know that bullying, unfortunately, is rife in schools, out in the community, in many aspects of many children's lives.
I think it is so important to work together because then we can only make the impact stronger and create it wider.
I'm Catherine Atkinson, MP for Derby North, and I'm proud to stand with Children First Derby and support their powerful anti-bullying campaign. Because no matter your background, everyone deserves to feel confident and included and valued. But bullying can make people feel unsafe, isolated, and can hold us back from being ourselves and becoming the best that we can be. I was so impressed by the young people that I met at Children First. Some of them had powerful stories and had come so far. They'd rediscovered their voice, their self-belief, and they were there for one another. Standing up against bullying isn't just their fight, it's ours too. Because as a community, we have a responsibility to act, not just when bullying happens, but by creating a culture where kindness, respect, and understanding are part of everyday life. So let's stand together. Let's build a future where every young person is safe to grow, free to be themselves, and strong in the knowledge that they belong exactly as they are.
Hi, I'm Baggy Shankar, Member of Parliament for Derby South. I'm proud to be supporting Children First Derby's anti-bullying campaign. Bullying can happen to anyone, anywhere, in the classroom, online, or even in our communities. And its impact can stay with somebody forever and make them feel really unwanted. We all deserve to feel safe, respected, and included. So we must tackle bullying, and we've all got a role to play in that. By checking on those around us and making sure people are okay and know they've got some support. And organisations like Children First Derby have a vital role to play in that, offering support to people, to children and their families. But they can't do this alone. We've got a role to play in that and helping the charities support our families. So let's work with one another, supporting one another and calling bullying out. Because an end to bullying makes everybody feel safer and better.
Hi there, I'm Nicole Deweny-Roberts, the Police and Crime Commissioner here in Derbyshire. As the PCC, I'm the public's voice in policing. This means that I work with the police by holding the Chief Constable to account on your behalf and work with key partners across the city and county to make our communities a safe and enjoyable place for people to live, work, study and visit. The anti-bullying campaign is an important step in highlighting the issues that many young people can often face. I fully support this campaign and want to do all that I can to ensure that we adopt a zero tolerance to bullying. I also want to share some of the great things that are taking place across our county at the moment. There is work going on in our schools with our Forces Youth Engagement Team, and students from both primary and secondary schools are benefiting from lessons that are focused on key issues around the different forms of bullying and how this can take place online and how this can also be prevented. These educational lessons are particularly important as 24% of our children and young people will experience some form of bullying. So we need to raise awareness of the dangers and how to stay safe online. If you are being bullied or can see someone being bullied, you should speak to a trusted individual and adult. They can be a family member, a friend, or a teacher. It is important that you do not suffer in silence. Anti-bullying charities like Children First Derby are there to help support victims of bullying.
So this brings an end to our 18-month anti-bullying campaign. As aforementioned in the video, bullying is a significant issue that will continue to happen in schools. As the fight against bullying continues, we realise that whilst we have transcended the campaign, more work needs to be done.
As we have the support of MPs Catherine and Baggy, we have created a paper petition to make it mandatory to report and monitor bullying, to ensure children and young people access an education without fear from bullies in their schools.